balance, you're a 10. If you're in balance, you're a 0. If you're somewhere out of balance, okay, I'm gonna move us. If your agency scored somewhere between a 0 and a 3, you're feeling pretty much in balance, that you really have things under control, and the agency is running rather efficiently. There may be some points that you want to improve, but for the most part, you're feeling that you're together. If you scored somewhere between a 4 and a 7, there are some areas that you believe that your agency needs to improve upon. And we'll be discussing those as we come to the next point, where I'm asking you to look at some of the ways that you can improve your own agency. Now, I realize that in this session, you might not have all of the people you need in your organization here to be looking at this from a business point of view. All of the key players may not be here. The reason to give you this is so that you can bring this home, and you could be talking as a management team as to where you stand and then how effective you are. So I'm very clear that the right people may not be in the room right now to completely look at this, but I'm also clear that this tool could be effective in helping you. If you're scoring between an 8 and a 10, then you're feeling completely out of control, and there are some areas that really demand attention inside your agency that before you end up with some major trouble, you need to fix it, potentially by bringing in outside people to help you look at how to improve.
Executives or leaders filling out the company, and you may have a lot of disagreement, and I assume you talk about that and realize there's might be some that aren't on the same page.
Always there's disagreement, but the good news is it's communication, isn't it? It's the ability to discuss where we are. Let's be objective. Where are we? Are we okay, or are we in trouble? Are we in balance, or are we out of balance? If we're out of balance, how do we maintain balance? How do we move forward? You know, it's really, really hard sometimes when you're out of balance. Am I in balance, or am I out of balance in my own mind, intellectually? Now let's talk about my physical world. Am I in balance with my material world, which is my health and my wealth? How am I in balance with my material world? Now let's talk about spirit and spiritual. Am I in balance with something bigger than me? Now, by the way, this doesn't mean you have to believe in religion. This is not religion. It's something bigger than you. But if you don't believe in religion, that's fine too. No problem. Are you in balance? It's okay. Are you balanced with that aspect of yourself? And next, your emotions. Are you in balance with your emotions? So now let's look at this from a score point of view. Ask you each to score your own selves individually. Think to yourself in your heart. Think from your stomach. I always tell people to give themselves a gut feel on what they think their score is. Are you in balance or out of balance intellectually? Are you using your mind too much, or are you using your mind too little? And by the way, it's okay to be 0. I'm in balance. Think about it. So ask yourself what your score is. And I'm just going to ask you to jot it down. Think about your own personal life. Now, Let's talk about your physical world. Let's talk about your health. How in balance or out of balance is your health? Give yourself a score. 0 balance, 10 way out of balance. Now let's talk about your wealth, your material possessions. How in balance or out of balance are you and your wealth? Now what sometimes people do is they add these 2 scores together and they average them. Remember, this is always whole numbers. Sometimes they round up because maybe their health is worse than their wealth and they might give themselves a rounded up score. Now let's talk about your imbalance or out of balance with something big.